Hey, welcome back to another lesson. This one is going to be pretty intense. We're getting into some serious stuff this time. Uber legato, all right? We're taking the legato skills that we learned last time, and we're applying them to scale shapes. And I've included a practice track along with this that's going to help you practice to a triplet speed in 2 different phases. So you'll be doing like a slow triplet and a fast triplet. And this should push you to some pretty extremes if you're not familiar with 3 notes per string shapes, and if you really haven't worked your legato. But I've set this up so you can basically practice this for months just by using different modes and using different scales and different keys, because these concepts are widely applicable. They're not narrow concepts. It's not like it's for one little thing here. This can apply to any key that you're in, any song that you're writing, and we're going to start off by using it with the major scale. So essentially, take a look. I'm going to use my A major scale, all right? And I'm setting it up 3 notes per string so I can utilize all the legato tricks that we talked about in the last lesson. So this is what it looks like. This is the 3 notes per string shape. It's 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9, 6, 7, 9, 6, 7, 9, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10. And you see I only picked the first note out of every single one of those strings, all right? So the first note here I picked, the rest I just hammered on. Pick, hammer, hammer, pick, hammer, hammer, pick. All right? So now what we can start doing is we can start ascending through the major scale by counting triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6 triplet, if you want to count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's 6 full triplets in a row there. So what this would sound like if I was actually in something in a key, I want you to take a listen. I'm gonna play the jam track, and I'm gonna just go up and down with slow triplets, and then I'm gonna go up and down with 16th note triplets. And I'm not really gonna close it off. I'm just gonna go all the way up the scale, and then I'll go all the way down the scale, just do it in the reverse by doing pull-offs like this. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. All right? And I'm going to do this in A major. Now, I want you to notice the jam track is only playing 2 notes. It's only playing an A and an E, all right? And that is going to give us the freedom to basically play any scale we want on top of this that has an A and an E. And that's like almost every scale has an A and an E. So we're starting in A major, but later on I'll be showing you this in A minor, A Lydian. Pretty much everything but A Locrian would sound good in this. But take a listen right now as I just go up and down using triplets over just this simple jam track, and listen to how nice and progressive it's going to sound. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4. And down. Now twice as fast. All right, pretty cool, but there's something missing. And what's missing is the fact that when I'm done with that run, my last note was 2 triplet, and I didn't really give you a downbeat to pick on, and so there was no like point. It was just like it was like a guitar run that just went away and then never really ended anywhere. It didn't have like a resolution. So what we want to do is we want to start adding in an extra note to our legato run. So we're going to pick through these legato runs, and then we're going to pick an extra note at the end. Something like this. Watch. What if I did 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3. All right, that 3 beat right there, that's an important beat, all right? So by doubling down on that 3 beat, I make the lick a little bit more rhythmically coherent. Take a listen. That sounds better than just leaving it at that note unresolved. All right, and there's no beat there to even sync it up to. There's another reason here that I picked this note in particular, is because we are in the key of A something, and today I picked, I'm starting with major right now, but I want to be picking, since I've decided to use an A major, I want to be picking notes that are in the A major chord, okay, to end on. So notes like this, A, C sharp, E, A, C sharp, E, A, C sharp. So those notes are all the notes of the A major arpeggio, okay? And you see where they're laid out here in this shape. In a 3 notes per string shape, they're not in a convenient spot. It's actually really uncomfortable playing an A major arpeggio when you stick to this shape. But we kind of have to, because these legato runs rely on us staying in our shape. So the idea here is I'm going to play any legato run I want. I'm going to do any hammer-on and pull-off sequence I want, but I'm going to try and end here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here, all right? Any of those notes are legitimate notes for me to end on to still maintain the sound of A major. So for example, let's say I just went to the 3rd string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I could end on that note. I could also end on this note by double picking. 1, 2, 3, 4, pick. And I could end on that note. The next chord tone, the next note of the arpeggio would be here, on that note. So I could jump. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, jump like that. All right. I could come down a note to this note, this A. All right. So 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 right there. All right. Now, I'm going to do that same concept now to the same jam, and I'll do it in the reverse again. Remember, everything, do it backwards too. So doing pull-offs, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4, and ending on that note, as opposed to doing something like, right? That note doesn't kind of resolve. It's not part of the A major chord. So I'm going to try and do that now to the same jam track, all right? Going up and down with legato, but when I end, I'm going to end on a beat by picking a single note, and then I'm also going to make sure that that note is one of my chord tones, one of my approved notes of the A major chord, all right? So let's take a listen to that. All right, so you see those moves like that? Sounds pretty nice. And it's starting to sound, I don't know, pretty progressive. I mean, I've left those long gaps in between, so it's not like total shred territory because we're giving ourselves these long breaks in between. But you can hear it's starting to sound pretty cool and like a solo that, you know, would impress people at least. And it's right on time and it's right in the key. So basically you can see what we're doing here is instead of just, you know, shredding around, now we're actually applying these in shapes. And here's where it gets crazy because this track is just A, so we can do this in any key we want. Let's completely switch pages now and let's go to A minor instead, all right? So if I did my A minor scale, 3 notes per string, it looks like this. 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9, and then it's 6, 8, and 10, and 7, 8, and 10, all right? So, since the jam track is like neutral, it's hollow, it doesn't have a major or minor feel, we can make it minor just by playing the minor scale on top of it, all right? And instantly, I'm just going to press play and just go up and down the minor scale and listen to how it changes. And that's the idea with a track with no chord. There's no chord being played here. So we are implying an A minor chord on top of this track merely just by playing the A minor scale. That's going to make your brain think, hey, I'm in the key of A minor. I kind of feel an A minor chord. And then also what I'll do is I'll try and highlight the notes of the A minor scale that are the notes of the chord as well. So this note, A, C, E, A, C, E, A, and C. Those are the notes I'm going to try and stop on. Those are the notes I'm going to try and prove my point on, the ones I'm going to hang out on, because they're going to reinforce this idea that my center chord is A minor, even though there is no A minor in this jam. All right, so let's take a listen. Just going up. So you can see there, definitely made a few mistakes. You know, I'm making this up on the fly. I'm much better at writing a solo than I am at improvising a solo. But these are the concepts that I go to when I begin writing a solo is, okay, you know, can I play triplets at that speed? All right. What patterns do I know at triplets at that speed? Okay, do I want to keep going? And then from there on, I have to practice it till I get it just right. But you can at least see how I would be thinking about developing a solo in the same kind of style. And, you know, just playing around with different places to stop on, playing around with, you know, different, you know, picking patterns or legato patterns instead of just going up and down. What if you did string skipping? So I'll stay in A minor, for example, but what if I started here and then skipped a string and then came down here and then skipped a string? You get some pretty tricky patterns that way that I wouldn't be able to do on the fly. And that's something I don't really have up my, you know, I haven't mastered that already because it's really not something I've practiced. But you spend a few days practicing it, and then all of a sudden that's a trick that you have available to you at any single point in time. But, you know, something like this, I really like this one. You just go up two strings, and then you kind of reset starting on that string. And then you kind of reset on that string, go up 2 strings, reset. All right, you get some really nice runs like that. And then the same thing in reverse. All right, and of course ending maybe on a chord tone or something like that, right on a beat. Okay, so now that we've done minor, I want to show you basically connecting these ideas would be the next step in really amping up your guitar playing. So right now we're just staying in one shape, right? We're shredding in one shape, we're going up and down that one shape, and but really what happens when you're playing live and when you're writing solos, you want to have access to more than one spot on your fretboard. So I want to go back to major right now, and what I want to try doing is connecting our legato idea to its neighbor shape, Dorian. All right, so take a look. We're back in major, all right, and this is A major, but A major is the exact same set of notes as the B Dorian scale. And here's what the B Dorian scale looks like, all right? And you can see I've set this up to be 3 notes per string as well, so that way I can do the same tricks that we've been talking about this entire lesson, all right? So what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to try and go up the major scale, and then I'm going to try and come down the Dorian scale like this. And then I can slide back to A if I so desire. All right? So now you can see this is starting to get, pretty cool. We're starting to connect and kind of move across our fretboard. And the goal here would be kind of do this with every shape you can. Move that and connect it to the next shape as well. And keep in mind, you don't have to necessarily do entire shapes. You can connect just little bits of shapes. One of my favorite things to do is just take the top 2 strings of a shape like this. These 2 strings right here. And then just transport your fingers into the next shape and do the same legato pattern. So now I'm in the Dorian shape. I can go up again to the Phrygian shape. And now I'm in the Lydian shape. All right, and then Mixolydian. You can see how that comes together as a nice little lead run. All right, and this is all what starts happening when you start connecting these 3 notes per string shapes. You have these ideas that it doesn't matter what shape you're in, you can use the same idea because you've already practiced them in some incarnation. All right, so now the last thing I want to talk about, the last magic here that really gets awesome with 3 notes per string shapes and scale runs like this is harmonization. How easy it is to harmonize one of these lines once you've written it. So let's say I wrote this pattern, okay? I'm going to try and whip something together. We're going to do 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, and then we'll come back down 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. All right, that's pretty simple. So we're going up 4 strings, and then we're going to back up a string, and then we're going to go up 4 strings, and then we're just going to end on a note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, end. All right. Now, let's say I've got that shredded out to this backing track, and let me play it for you just once over the backing track so you can hear what that's going to sound like, and then I'll harmonize with it, and I'll show you how simple it is to harmonize with something like this with 0 practice, as long as you know your shapes, and it's going to sound killer. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry, let's try that again. I got to go 4 strings, not 2. 2, 3, again. Now, what I would do to harmonize with that is surprisingly simple, all right? If you know your 3 notes per string shapes, all 7 of your modes, what you can do is you can just go up, not to the next shape, but to the shape after that. For example, I'm in A major. The next shape is B Dorian. Let's skip that one and let's go to C sharp Phrygian, all right? And that shape looks like this. Now, even though I've never really played this lick before with these different frets, all I have to do is the same idea, okay? Really, because I know that everything I'm doing is 3 notes higher. So to harmonize in thirds, this is the cheapest, quickest, dirtiest way to come up with a harmony. It's not always going to be a great harmony. It's not always going to be a perfect harmony, but it'll always work in some fashion. So all I'm doing is playing every single note 3 notes higher within the scale. And I can do that just by playing C sharp Phrygian. So once again, I'm just going to go down 4 strings, back up a string, go down 4 strings, and then end on a note like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I put that together, and if I play that over the jam track, take a listen. It's going to sound kind of weird on its own, but then at the end, I'll split it so you can hear both of them at the same time, and you'll hear it's an absolute perfect harmony. All right, pretty neat, right? So basically, you can see you get like instant harmonies just by playing anything you've learned in one shape and just transporting it up 3 shapes in a 3 notes per string shape, all right? So there's just so many options here when you're composing. If you wanted to write, 17 measures of legato moves in one shape, you could all of a sudden harmonize with it like that just by transporting your fingers over to the other shape. So that's why it's so important to practice those 3 notes per string shapes, and you're going to get a lot of mileage out of them. They're really, I think I have like a little link in the description to the 3 notes per string shape, so please check that out, and definitely please check out out the description to get the jam track that I was practicing along with. And, experiment with the different modes as well. I just did a few here, but really there's anything you can do. And I didn't talk about things that aren't modes of the major scale, stuff like harmonic minor, stuff like melodic minor. So feel free to go into that adventure as well. All right. So this should keep you really busy, especially if you're not familiar with the 3 notes per string shapes. And I'm betting you could probably practice this for months. I'm still practicing. I learned this kind of stuff, years and years ago, and I'm still coming up with new shapes, new patterns, new ways to practice this, and new connections between them. So hopefully it kind of gives you something to work on. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, please leave a message below, and I'll see what I can do to help you out. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.